So, given the subject matter of this video, I thought I'd make it really clear first that I haven't been crying much. It's just hay fever is playing havoc with my eyes. So they are red as hell, and I can't really do anything about it, apart from maybe just rub antihistamines into my eyeballs, which is probably not ill-advised. It's definitely not medical advice for anybody watching this. But the conversation I wanted to have today with you was about the mental health conversation that nobody seems to have when it comes to creators and founders and business owners. I've thought about this a lot. I've had a number of conversations about this with people. I actually asked this as an open-ended question at a panel event that I went to in London with the team at Connected, the VC there. And the answer ended up going on for so long that I had to get my train back to Bristol before the event even finished. Apparently I won a book for the best question, but I never got it because I wasn't there to receive it. And the question, as open-ended as it is around how we maintain enjoyment for the things that we build whilst mitigating the emotional stress of the negative circumstances. So I've just recently experienced this. Had a massive unexpected tax bill come in. One that, if I don't do something about it, could really screw me up. Potentially game ending, really. And of course, that's a massively negative experience. It's, something that you don't want to feel like things are over. But I've been in this game for about 10 years now, and of running businesses and startups. And I realized that actually the reality of your emotional reaction to those things mitigates over time. Because the first time something like that ever happens, you feel incredibly bad. You feel like the world's going to end, your stomach drops, and you can't think about anything else. It can cause anxiety, it can cause depression in many cases, it can cause definitely sleepless nights, cold sweats. I've had all of those and more. And I'm not the only person. Lots of founders deal with this. In fact, statistically speaking, people that run their own business are more likely to deal with mental health challenges than the quote-unquote average person, if there is such a thing. And so we put ourselves through all this stress. But what happens is, and this is all anecdotal, not statistically backed, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a scientist, but I'm making observations based on what I've seen through people for 10 years and what I've felt myself for 10 years. A good amount of time to have a decent sample size, I'm sure. And the reality is what happens is once you feel that negative emotion, you experience it fully the first time. The more it happens, because that will never stop happening, there will always be something negative that happens. A member of staff might leave, you might lose a client, you might have the worst day ever, another unexpected tax bill comes in, something will happen that makes you feel negative and sad. But your brain, my brain at least, and I don't know if I'm speaking for people here, but I've seen this in other people and I observe this in myself, but our brains start to understand that feeling, really deal with that grieving process of that feeling quicker as time goes on. And as a result, some sort of negative stimulus comes in our lives. We see it, observe it, understand it, feel it for a bit and move on. And that's kind of a protective mechanism that I find, for me at least, that it allows me to stop feeling so bad, because my body, my brain inherently doesn't want to feel bad. So it's going to block that experience out, get to the resolution. It's fairly Taoist in a way, I guess, kind of like a Buddhist understanding of knowing that you should only really think about the things that you can affect, rather than let things affect you if you have no control over them. It's very, I'm paraphrasing that massively. I don't know enough about the spiritualist practice, but I've been told that that's a very Taoist kind of methodology. The problem here, though, because that sounds great, cool, I feel less bad about bad things. Sounds like an absolute win. But is it? Because what I find, and bear with me here because I'm lacking illustrations, and I have an amazing editor who can throw this in as an illustration just yet, but is I find that emotion is very much like a wave. I'm going to do this the right way for you. It's very much like a wave. It's normal, nominal, and then you feel some excitement and it feels amazing. You run your own business because you get to experience incredible highs from the first pound of money that you generate to the first customer and the big wins that you get and the time that you can take out of your diary without even having to ask for that time off. All of those things create massive highs. And I see somebody today on Twitter that prompted this video say that they thought about something today that literally made them shake with excitement. I thought it was quite funny, and it made me think, actually, I kind of miss those days. And the reason why I say I kind of miss those days is because I still get excited, don't get me wrong, just like I still get sad and feel bad about negative stimulus coming into my life via my business. But what happens, I find and I observe, is that over time, those highs are counteracted by lows. You know, chaos is almost, I guess, inevitable. Not to try and accidentally quote Vision from the Avengers, but that's kind of, you know, the norm. Everything that feels great feels better because something bad has been experienced previously in our lives, and vice versa, and that kind of wave continues throughout life. Good, bad, and ideally more good than bad. But when you start mitigating the emotional reaction to those negative feelings, you start quashing it and moving past it fast. I found personally, and observed in other people, that it's hard not to quash that feeling without dampening that wave of emotion. I.e., you can't maintain the highs if this is the baseline. You can't necessarily maintain the highs while stopping the lows from happening. What tends to end up happening is that the high highs are really high at the start and the low lows are really low at the start. But over time, we lower the negative stimulus, but also equally bottom out the positive reaction too. And so the reason why I found it quite funny to see somebody saying that they were so excited they were literally shaking is because I realized that it's not something I generally feel anymore. Now, this isn't an admittance to sociopathy. I'm sure that, you know, by definition, we're all far away from that. But there is this kind of anecdotal characterization, at least in, you know, media and fiction, that paints a picture of CEOs and high-level people as being slightly sociopathic. And I do wonder whether it's because of that, whether it's because of our need to mitigate the negative stimulus and the reaction to negative stimulus in our bodies and our brains, and make ourselves just feel better or feel less worse at least. And then as a result, also accidentally, naturally mitigating the response to the positive stimulus that comes into our lives, the things that make us excited, and eventually becoming a little bit more muted generally as a result. Now, I'm still working on ways to beat this. I think the first way to do that is to understand it and acknowledge it first of all. Again, this is fully anecdotal. There's no data or science necessarily to back this up, but an anecdotal understanding as to how I feel and, again, what I see in other people. Someone might be able to confirm some of this assumption, who's qualified to do so. But the way that I see to try and maintain those highs, whilst ideally mitigating a little bit of the lows, is to celebrate the wins. Celebrate the small wins in ways that are really meaningful to you. It might be time off, it might be reward, it might be extrinsic, intrinsic motivation. There's different factors that come into play, but reward yourself for the wins and reward your team if you have one for the wins, and maintain that high, maintain that excitement. You see this, I guess, really practically done and materialistically done in the likes of recruitment companies, for example, where they'll offer holidays or, you know, big financial rewards for hitting certain targets. Recruitment is a thankless job sometimes, and so, you know, the negative stimulus is probably incredibly profound. I did it for 3 weeks and it really kind of made me a different person. I was very unhappy. That's not everybody's experience, but it was for me, because I just kept getting knocked back time after time after time again. And so I guess what they're doing, whether they realize it or not, probably do, is either inadvertently or proactively maintaining that high of that wave whilst mitigating the lows that will over time start to dissipate. So I just wanted to talk about that openly with you guys, because I feel like it's the conversation a lot of people don't have when it comes to mental health and well-being, and creators, founders, business owners, C-level executives, anyone really, anyone, you know, who's even working on the shop floor of a retail space will get a lot of negative stimulus from unhappy customers. And I guess as humans, we all probably have very similar reactions to these things. And so, you know, I don't have any answers necessarily to it. That's a tip that seems to work for me just about. I'm equally very open, more so very open to other tips and advice to be able to beat that demon, as it were. And if anybody would like to discuss it, then I will more than happy have you on a piece of content like this, where we can talk about it in front of the world, so that they can all kind of help themselves beat that too. But yeah, stay happy, stay excited out there. Try not to let things get you down too much. But if they do, realize them, understand them, feel them, and appreciate them if you can. Because, you know, what they say, always rains before you see a rainbow. And whilst that's very cliche, the analogy is fair here. The good times feel better because the bad times existed in the first place. So I'm going to go and work my ass off to beat this tax bill now. And we're launching a couple of things this week, which will hopefully help do that. I'm excited to see how many of you want to get involved and help out with it. But in the meantime, stay safe, work hard, be good, and I will see you guys in the next one.